Clown in the Cornfield is written and directed by Eli Craig, and it stars Katie Douglas and Kevin Durand and Aaron McCormick and a bunch of other people that you may or may not have heard of. The story here is there's this girl named Quinn and her father who have decided to move to this very small town called Kelly Springs. I think that's what the name of the city is. And this is a very fractured community that's just barely holding it together. That's what they find when they get there. As tensions begin to boil over in the town, there's this sinister, mysterious, grinning clown figure who begins going around the town, brutally murdering people. And so we have Quinn and we have her father and we have other town folk that are trying to basically fight for their lives and figure out a way to survive the night and survive the situation. I gotta say, sometimes it's kind of a blessing in disguise when you have a weekend of very small or limited release type of films. Blockbuster season doesn't officially kick off until later on this week, but for this week, I actually thought it was pretty refreshing that we got some smaller scale releases. Sometimes small scale really does wonders. Like, you can find some hidden gems here or there in the movies that not a lot of people are seeing. And I saw that this movie came from Shudder, which has produced a lot of really underrated horror films over the past few years. I also saw that this movie was made for $1 million, which not only is a good sign in terms of like profitability, but it's also just good to see small budget movies like this still sticking around and still having somewhat of an impact when it comes to the box office. When it comes to Clown in the Cornfield, I think you should just look at this as an 80s or 90s or early 2000s type of slasher movie, except it takes place in the modern times. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. It's a throwback in all of the right ways. It has all of the tropes and the cliches that you come to love about the slasher genre. It's got tons of gore, tons of blood. There are some aspects that are completely over the top. So right off the bat, I love the fact that this movie relies on high level execution. It's not here to surprise you or to shock you or to make you think that it's something other than what it is. I have a thing for horror movies that are very self-aware. This movie is very self-aware of itself, and that's not just with the dialogue and the jokes, but just in the way that it presents itself, the way that it presents the kills, the way it carries itself overall. And that's to say, all of the performances in this movie, no matter if they're being asked to be a little over the top or maybe to be a little bit more grounded, all of the performances feel very committed here. Katie Douglas is the standout. She's kind of the lead of the movie. She gives the best performance. It'll satisfy those people that are just looking for some of these people to be brutally murdered. What I like about the serial killer in this movie who dresses up like a clown, like, it's easy to not take that serious. Then before you know it, like, you can't help it. Your heart starts pounding when you see all the many different ways that this clown figure can kill people in this movie. It's not like the clown just relies on one weapon or anything. He relies on multiple weapons. He can kill you in a multitude of ways. I like the way that this movie plays that up, and it really allows it to ratchet up the tension. Even though it's a $1 million budget movie, it's a good looking movie with pretty good camera work. This is a movie that definitely has the clown popping up at random places that'll feel like jump scares, but again, it's all about the execution. If you've seen a Michael Myers movie or a Scream movie or something in that vein over the last 25 to 30 years, you're gonna know exactly what this movie is going for. You're gonna be all the way on board with it. Is it a little corny? Is it a little cheesy at times? Yeah, sure, they lay it on a little bit thick, but I thought everybody kind of liked cheese. Imagine if you had a grilled cheese sandwich and you had like a corner of cheese. Who the fuck wants to eat that? Now again, I will say, even though this movie is self-aware and you understand what it's trying to do, it does lean very heavily into the cliches and the tropes of the genre. There's a lot of formulaic storytelling here. Nothing here is gonna throw you completely by surprise, and I will say some of the things that they're doing story-wise in this movie, some of it feels pretty heavy-handed, so that you can like pretty much tell when they're trying to lead you in the opposite direction of where you're supposed to be looking. But if you just use common sense, you can have the whole movie figured out in like 30 minutes. If you have functioning eyes and functioning ears, you'll know exactly what's going on in the first 30 minutes of the movie. This movie also does suffer a little bit from some tonal inconsistencies. Shit gets real and shit gets real heavy in this movie at times. There's always still an insistence on characters to like joke around or to say things that feel like they're joking around, not really appreciating the gravity of the situation. The movie's funny, and you know the movie's trying to be funny, it works, but then the movie tries to be funny in some moments that shouldn't be funny, and the characters shouldn't be reacting to it like it's funny. There's a little bit of a generational ego thing that they're using to kind of play up the kills, to play up like the secret behind the serial killer in this movie. Well, I kind of appreciate the different directions you could go with that. Again, some of it feels very heavy-handed in this movie, and I think a little bit more subtle or nuanced approach really would have benefited the story. Some of it is just beating you over the head relentlessly with, you know, the thing that they're trying to beat you over the head with, and at a certain point, you get a concussion and you don't appreciate it more just because it's in your face. But overall, Clown in a Cornfield, for a low-budget horror movie, I actually had a pretty solid time watching this one. Didn't knock my socks off. It's not gonna change the wheels of time or anything, by the way. Haven't seen Wheels of Time, heard good things about it, can't wait to check it out on Prime Video. You add that up to a movie that feels consistently entertaining, you can kind of forgive the little flaws that start to pop up on the periphery. At least I was able to forgive those flaws. Clown in a Cornfield was a solid time in the movies. I'm gonna leave this one in the Daily Planet. So tell me, what's your favorite clown-related horror movie of all time? There should be a shit ton of them. Go ahead and put them in the comment section down below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.